name is Catherine Ryder. I work at the Audit Commission. I'm a development manager in the Local Government Directorate and I work in Millbank Tower in London. The main project that I'm involved in is a project called Comprehensive Performance Assessment, which is how we assess the public services that local government provides to local people, and my job is to coordinate the methodology for how we do that. I was mostly focused on science subjects, so I did maths, physics and biology A-level. I was always very kind of methodical and mathematical in my approach to school. I did a biology degree because it was a subject that I really enjoyed and it was just something which I was really interested in. And I absolutely loved my degree. It was just, I loved all the subjects that I did within it and I wouldn't have wanted to do anything different looking back now. I always wanted to be a teacher. My mum was a teacher and I always thought that I wanted to be a teacher. And I did my postgraduate certificate in education following my degree and very quickly discovered that I was absolutely hopeless. I could hear myself nagging and shouting and I just didn't seem to have any kind of natural aptitude for teaching at all, which was a big disappointment because that's kind of what I pinned all my career hopes on. It was kind of like blind panic, thinking, my God, what on earth am I going to do? And just because I didn't know what else to do, I ended up finishing my PGCE because I thought, well, you know, that I need to give it a bit more time. I need to really make sure that it isn't what I want to do. But once I'd finished that, it was just the kind of panic, thinking, what on earth am I going to do with my job? Where am I going to work? What am I going to do? And then I decided that I wanted to move to London and do something totally different. A lot of my friends at the time were moving to London and were doing jobs, kind of graduate jobs in law and banking and those sectors that traditionally kind of graduates tend to go into. So that's what I decided to do when I moved to London. I work for a German bank which has got a reputation as being quite a nice bank, but I just didn't enjoy the atmosphere there at all. It was very stressful, people weren't very nice to you, and it just felt kind of a bit soul-destroying, really. Fortunately, I was forced into changing my mind because the bank that I worked for was taken over by an American company, and I'd only been there about 8 months and I was made redundant. So I went travelling to Australia. When I was away travelling, I really kind of thought about what I wanted to do when I got back and thought about what was important to me in a job, and I realised I wanted to be somewhere with a different atmosphere. I didn't want to work in the city, I wanted to work in the public sector. So it really did give me the opportunity to think about what I wanted to do. When I first started working here, culturally, I really felt like I'd come home. I really liked the people that I was working with. I really liked the atmosphere. I really liked the kind of sense of working for a team with a purpose rather than just to make money. And there's such a diverse mix of people working at the Audit Commission, you know, and I just instantly got on really well with everybody, and it really felt like the right place for me to be.
Jumping ships, you got away with words, and I got my fingers burned when my guard was down.
My name is Daniel Babcock. I'm a project developer for E.ON Climate and Renewables, and that involves developing wind farms from early feasibility right through to construction. My first work experience whilst completing my degree was within the defence industry, and I was working on a land-based army project, which was very exciting and very good in terms of having fun as well as engineering experience. Working in the defence industry was an exciting time of my career development, and it had lots of opportunities, but I realised I wanted to work in renewable energy, and I did have to reconcile the internal struggle between staying in a job which I have, which is secure, which has career prospects, and taking a risk to leave that and go for what I really wanted to do. So I took that risk and I resigned from my previous job and took this job with E.ON Climate and Renewables, and it was the right thing to do. And really, I think anyone who is unhappy or they have something else they want to do should listen to their instincts and make that jump, because it will pay off.
Jumping ships, you got away with words, and I got my fingers burned.
I'm Alison Swift. I'm an apprentice service technician. I work for BT Openreach in and around Coventry and Birmingham. We're training to be engineers, to work on the last mile of network, they call it, but it's basically from the exchange all the way to the customer's house. At first, I wanted to study physics at university. I just felt that that was what I was supposed to do. In school, it was just GCSEs, A-levels, university. They didn't really speak about the other options. My major turning point was probably the day I decided to leave university. It just motivated me to actually think about what I wanted to do forever, for the rest of my life. So it kind of made me think about settling down, getting my brain in gear. I think it was just the whole environment. It just wasn't for me. I didn't like sitting in a classroom 7 days a week. I'd rather be out doing things. My parents left school before they even got their GCSE results, so they didn't really know what I was doing anyway. My mum works in a supermarket, and my dad doesn't work because he's disabled. I think my parents would have been happy if I had carried on with university. I mean, they were really positive about it. They didn't really know much about university or what it led to. They just heard the word university, oh great. I think they were disappointed when I left, but they were still happy with what I did. I probably would have revised a lot more for my A-levels, because I didn't at all. It was a big mistake. I still got okay grades, but they weren't as good as what everyone expected me to get, because I just didn't do the work. When I applied for this apprenticeship, if you had good A-levels as well, you could have started higher up, do a higher apprenticeship rather than just an advanced.
Jumping ships, you got away with words, and I got my fingers burned when my guard was down.
My name's John Glass, and I'm assistant blender at Ian MacLeod Distillers. My job goes from standard quality control to designing blends. I assist my boss in deciding how we're going to produce the final blend, and a lot of different activities in between. It's an odd line for my family to be in. My grandparents are from the Salvation Army, so they're all teetotalers. When I finished school, I had good grades and didn't know what to do. Now, my dad is a doctor, and I had the grades to do medicine and decided to start studying medicine. I had no problems in first year at all, but then got on to second year and really had a real, is this what I want to do moment? And throughout the rest of that year, I had continued confidence issues. And although I attended everything, every lecture, did every coursework, in the exams I crumbled. And now I would say it's just because I'd come to terms with something, it wasn't something that I didn't want to do. I fell into enjoyment of whisky during university stages when I got into a whisky society, and I realised I really enjoyed the stuff. There's a tourist attraction in Edinburgh called the Whisky Heritage Centre, or Whisky Experience as it's now known, which I thought I'll get a job there for a while, I'll enjoy it, it'll be good fun, I might learn some stuff, taste some good whisky, and started working there. And after about a year or two, I decided this really is my passion, this is an industry I really want to work in.
Jumping ships, you got away with words, and I got
My name's Sarah Halls, and I'm an occupational therapy assistant. I work in neurosciences, and we tend to work with patients who have been in road traffic accidents or had brain tumours, and also people with spinal injuries come to us. I find this job very rewarding, but also very challenging. So almost every morning you wake up, you don't know what kind of day you're going to have. It's constantly changing, which is what was brilliant. You have to be very creative. You almost have to, think on the spot. As of 2 years ago, I never knew what occupational therapy was. From a young child, was always hooked on drama, was always going to be an actress, and took A-levels in drama and then a degree in drama. And it was through my drama degree that I actually thought, do you know what, it's not for me. I then decided to join Addenbrooke's staff bank for administration duties, around the trust. And I worked in many different areas. By talking to the health visitors, they said, well, why haven't you tried occupational therapy? And I said, well, I've never heard of it. And so I researched into it, and it's got a lot of similar skills, transferable skills, if you like. So then I went for this job and thankfully got it and haven't looked back. And now the next step is my degree so that I can work my way up and become a therapist. My mum has been a nurse for many, many years and still is so unbelievably passionate about her job. And if I can be as old as her, sorry mum, and enjoy my job still as much as she does, then that would make me have accomplished something really important.
I got a stark reminder of when I first did see those flames wrapped around a paper towel in my backyard.